You guys read the title. I feel like we don't even have to have an intro because it's pretty self-explanatory. We're going to be reacting to MLB's top 100 player list going into 2023, and make sure you guys watch all the way until the end because there's some picks and some rankings that do not make any sense. Jumping right into it, we have Giancarlo Stanton starting off at 100, followed by Adolis Garcia, Yandy Diaz, who shocked everyone last year. He was one of the best hitters, not only in the AL, but in all of baseball. Logan Webb, Joe Musgrove, Yu Darvish, Rhys Hoskins, Jazz Chisholm Jr., Bobby Witt Jr., and Nestor Cortez. Off the rip, I feel like Nestor, he's been pretty good for the last year and a half, almost 2 years. I feel like he's ranked a little bit too low. We've also seen guys like Jazz Chisholm Jr. get a lot of hate because people are saying he's been injured, he has never played a full season, now he's on the cover of MLB The Show, he's overhyped and overrated. For me, I feel like Jazz definitely deserves to be in the top 100 simply based off talent. I feel like he's going to be a monster in 2023, so I have no problem putting him in the top 100. But the one thing I will say is I don't know the requirements for making the top 100 according to MLB. Is it track record? Is it just based off talent? I feel like if it was only based off of talent, they would have said the best 100. These are the top 100, so they're taking everything into account: skill, track record, and health. So from 100 to 91, let me know in the comments. What did they get right or wrong? 90 to 81, we have Alejandro Kirk, Ty France, Christian Walker, who made leaps and bounds last year. He was so productive, both offensively and at first base defensively. Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert Jr., he actually just changed his jersey going into 2023. Dalton Varsho, Sean Murphy, Teoscar Hernandez, Devin Williams, and Clayton Kershaw. What is with the disrespect of Clayton Kershaw? There's no way that I'm putting him outside of my top 60 to 70 baseball players, even though he's up there in age. Did you know that he's pretty much the same age as Jacob deGrom? And last year, Clayton Kershaw, in more innings, had a better performance than Jacob deGrom. So I'm not saying that he's better than Jacob going into 2023, but 81 is a little bit too low. Other players on this list, I feel like Luis Robert can be a top 50 player. If he plays 150 games, he can be really good. Ty France might be a little bit too low. He is very underrated. He almost didn't make the All-Star team last year, even though he was insane. But let me know. What are your thoughts on 90 through 81? Now, luckily, I snagged this image before they deleted it because they thought that Cedric Mullins was Jorge Mateo. So 80 to 71, we have Christian Javier, far too low. Aaron Nola, far too. Aaron Nola at 79, that is so far my biggest issue with this list. That is an absolute crime. Tommy Edman, Brandon Woodruff, Shane Bieber, Matt Chapman, Anthony Rizzo, Wilson Contreras, Tim Anderson, and Cedric Mullins. Now, if we're talking about the players that I think should be higher up on this list, the fact that Aaron Nola is not a top 50 player, at least top 60, 79 is far too low. Cedric Mullins, for me, even though he's been productive, he had that 30-30 season, he wasn't as good in 2022, although he was still pretty good. Honestly, I would take Christian Javier, Aaron Nola, Brandon Woodruff, Shane Bieber all before Cedric Mullins, but maybe that's just me. Oh no, this is already, I mean, I see Starling Marte on the screen right now, and I don't think that Starling Marte is bad by any means, but he's not better than Aaron Nola. All right, so at 70, we have Nathaniel Lowe. That is, I know he broke out in 2022, but to say that he's better than Aaron Nola or Matt Chapman, I guess I'll have to disagree with that. Zach Gallen, very good. Shane McClanahan, Luis Castillo, Steven Kwan makes the top 70s. Spencer Strider, Jeremy Pena at 64. Luis Ariz, Randy Arozarena, and Starling Marte. Honestly, there's a lot to be said about 70 to 61. I feel like a lot of these players, not that they're going to be overrated by anyone, but I feel like they're ranked a little bit too high. Jeremy Pena, I know that he absolutely went off in October, and in the World Series, he was the ALCS MVP and the World Series MVP, but he had a sub 300 on base percentage. Yes, he has great speed and defense, but I don't know, 64 seems a little bit high. That's just my opinion, though. I love me some Nathaniel Lowe, but I'm not going to lie to you guys, there is no chance if I'm a GM that I'd take Nathaniel Lowe 10 spots ahead of Christian Javier. That's blasphemous. All right, 60 to 51, we have Brian Reynolds. Okay, I can get down with that. Willie Adames, Wander Franco. We have Alek Manoah. I feel like he is criminally underrated, and a lot of Yankees fans hate him, and they think that he's tubby, although he's in pretty good shape. I know that he does carry his weight, but I feel like he carries it well. It does not affect his performance at all, and he lifts heavy as well. Framber Valdez, Dylan Cease, Brandon Nimmo, Michael Harris, Emmanuel Clase, and Edwin Diaz. So Edwin Diaz, he doesn't crack the top 50, even though he was essentially unhittable last year. Alek Manoah being at 57, right behind Dylan Cease and Framber Valdez. I feel like when they were making this list, they just grouped a bunch of pitchers together like Javier and Nola. Then you have Manoah, Valdez, and Cease. For me, all three of these guys should be ranked higher. But then again, I didn't make this list. And one thing I noticed, they did rank Michael Harris ahead of Brandon Nimmo. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, even though I love Brandon Nimmo, I would agree with that. He does have some issues talking about Michael Harris in terms of chasing, but he got better as the season progressed. So if he doesn't continue to chase bad pitches, I feel like Michael Harris, yeah, he does have a higher ceiling than Brandon Nimmo. But again, these are just my opinions. Not gonna lie to you guys though, I am not a fan of this list through the first 50-ish players. So let's keep it moving to the top 50. Julio Urias continues to get slept on. He is starting off the top 50. We have George Springer, Byron Buxton at 48. So this is where I kind of have to factor in health. Maybe that's where they're bringing in the whole, this is the top list as opposed to the best, because if we're talking about most talented players, Byron Buxton, he's in the top 30 to 20. Ooh, Marcus Semien ahead of Andres Gimenez. Okay, Jeff McNeil is... Does that say Kyle Schwarber is better than Jeff McNeil? Okay, guys, I know that Kyle Schwarber is an American hero. He won us all tacos in the World Series. He's great at hitting home runs, but that's all he can really do at an elite level. Do I think that he's a great hitter? I think, yeah, he's pretty good at hitting home runs. But again, that's really all that he can do. He's kind of one-dimensional. I would take Jeff McNeil over Kyle Schwarber. There's a few other players that were ranked lower that I would take before Kyle Schwarber. Anyways, moving on over to Matt Olson, Will Smith, and Adley Rutschman. So after a handful of games, they believe that Adley Rutschman is better than Will Smith. Not gonna lie to you guys, I love Will Smith, but I agree with that. Adley Rutschman, he is a game changer, both defensively, getting on base. Will Smith, he is fantastic offensively as well, and pretty sneaky good defensively. So let me know from 50 to 41. What were your issues? All right, starting off the top 40, we have Jose Abreu at 40, followed by Dansby Swanson, Carlos Rodon, Garrett Cole at 37, wow. Max Fried, Zach Wheeler, Bo Bichette, Corey Seager, Xander Bogaerts, and Pete Alonso. So I'm trying to kind of find the issues with 40 to 31. I do see a few of them, but I want you guys to let me know in the comments, what do you make of 40 to 31? Because for me, ranking Zach Wheeler at 35 and Aaron Nola at 79, I agree with Zach Wheeler being this high. But to say Aaron Nola is only 79, like, I just don't understand how they came up with this list. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. And one thing I will say, I feel like a lot of people are gonna have an issue with Xander Bogaerts being outside the top 30. He improved defensively. He was out of his mind offensively, and now that he's on a super team in the Padres, I feel like he's only gonna get better. For me, Xander Bogaerts, way too low. Ooh, Kyle Tucker at 30. Okay, we'll have to see who's ahead of him, because I feel like Kyle Tucker being outside the top 25 to 20 is a little bit suspect. So we have Kyle Tucker at 30, JT Realmuto, Jacob deGrom at 28. Wow. Corbin Burns is ahead of Jacob deGrom going into 2023. We have Fernando Tatis Jr., Ronald at 25. My God. Alex Bregman ahead of Ronald and Tatis. Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, and Francisco Lindor. So they think that Lindor is better than Correa. They think that Altuve is better than someone like Andres Gimenez and Marcus Semien, and not even better, like a lot better. But for me, I'm going to say Fernando Tatis Jr. is too low. Ronald is too low. Kyle Tucker is too low. But then again, a lot of people might say Kyle Tucker is not better than most of the names in this 30 through 21. But I feel like that's because a lot of these players are ranked too low. Tatis and Ronald, they're top 10 players when healthy. Again, when healthy. This I do agree with. Austin Riley being in the top 20, he has been just so productive and elite over the last 2 seasons. Rafael Devers is just ahead of Austin Riley. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bryce Harper outside the top 10. So again, they might be factoring in health. I don't know. J-Rod, Scherzer, Justin Verlander, Sandy, Juan Soto, and Trey Turner. So Trey Turner, in my opinion, is not better than Juan Soto. I feel like Juan Soto is being slept on so bad. I mean, in a down season, he still had a plus 400 on base percentage. I mean, to me, this could be blasphemous. I feel like Austin Riley might be better than Rafael Devers, but then again, I could just be caught up in how bad Rafael Devers was in the second half, because he was all-time good in the first half. Vladdy at 18, Bryce Harper at 17. I'm still going Bryce Harper as top 10, injured or not. J-Rod at 16. That's pretty solid considering he's only been in the league for 1 year. JV at 14, right behind Sandy. Trey Turner, I think, is really good, but for me, I'm still taking Juan Soto over Trey Turner. All right, we are now in the top 10. This will be image by image. So Freddie Freeman is the 10th best player. I feel like Jose Ramirez or Yordan has to be next. Yordan is at number 9. Jose Ramirez is at number 8. So that means Arenado and Machado have to be next, and then Goldie is number 7. Nolan Arenado is number 6. Manny Machado is number 5. Mookie Betts at number 4. Ooh, Mookie Betts better than Arenado and Machado, as well as Goldie going into 2023. Mike Trout has been dethroned for the 2nd year in a row. So Mike Trout is the 3rd best player. Ohtani is not at number 2. I thought that they were going to have Aaron Judge at number 1. I think the 2nd consecutive year by MLB, Shohei Ohtani is your number 1 player in baseball, just ahead of Aaron Judge. Yeah, the comments are going to be spicy just off the top 3 alone. I am still very much a believer in Mike Trout. If you're giving me 162 of Mike Trout and 162 of Aaron Judge, I love Aaron, but I'm going to take Mike Trout. I'm sorry. Now, do I agree with Mike Trout being behind Aaron Judge for today's video ranking? Yes, I do believe that Aaron Judge should be ranked ahead of Mike Trout based off what they did last year. Again, that's going to cause a lot of controversy in the comments, but I'm still a believer in guys like Juan Soto, Mike Trout. Even though they might have slipped in production or been a little bit injury prone over the last few years, their talent is immense. But then again, Aaron Judge is one of the most talented humans that has ever played sports. Almost became the first player in history to have a 60 home run, 20 stolen base season. So when I say that out loud, it makes me want to say that I would take him over Mike Trout. Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani. For me, it's kind of 1A through 1C. I would take all of these guys and not feel bad about it. So here's the top 10 at a glance. Let me know if you have any issues with Ohtani being number 1 over Judge, Judge being number 2 over Mike Trout. Again, Mike Trout, he was historically good as well. It's just Judge, he played more games. In my opinion, the top 10 is probably the best out of all of the rankings that we saw. So as we end today's video, I'm going to start off with the top 100 and we're going to go all the way to 1, kind of a little collage. So thank you guys for watching. Again, if you have any issues or disagreements or agreements with this list, please let me know in the comment section down below. Again, I don't know what the requirements were. I don't know if they factored in health as a #1 priority or track record or what they did in 2022 alone. So let me know what you guys thought. Thank you all so much for watching and catch you in the next video.